know we have a very exciting and ambitious day, so I don't want to throw us off schedule at all. Thank you so much for joining us for this panel discussion about leveraging AI in research here at UC Davis. We'll talk a little bit about applications, resources, and collaborations across the whole campus. So I'll introduce you to all of our panelists. You can see little vignettes of them up here. But before I do, I wanted to just say that AI is really thriving at UC Davis. So to show you some data about that, I wanted to put up the logos of all of the entities that are engaged in AI research that we know of so far. So tons of activities all across our campus, and we'll get to hear a lot about it today. Not from everybody directly, but we will hear a lot about it. And it's very exciting. We had more than 400 people register to attend this panel. So we have this room, and then there's overflow rooms. And the goal here today is to build some lasting connections, to broaden our community, and to scale up our efforts. So we really want to leverage the comprehensive nature of UC Davis, the excellence across the board in humanities, engineering, medicine, law, our student community, our IET community. We want to leverage everybody in order to be world leaders in the AI space where we have the capacity to do so. So I'm trying to set the stage for more collaborative efforts. So let me start out by talking about the highest level thing happening at the campus, and that would be the AI Council. So a year ago, the chancellor convened a group of us and asked us to please provide oversight of AI governance. So that's the main task of the council, and it's chaired by our own Simon Atkinson, Vice Chancellor of Research, and Katie Rust, the Chair of the Academic Senate. And it's broken into 4 main topical areas: administration and services, health, research, and instruction. And it has a broad range of stakeholders from across the campus: administrators, staff, Senate faculty, Federation faculty, and many student leaders. So what I wanted to point out is that the draft report of the AI Council is now out and available to the community for comment. So I would urge you to look at that report, download it, and provide feedback. And I'll give you a pointer to a URL at the very end where you can get more links to things that I'm going to be talking about here. So one thing that I wanted to mention about this AI Council report was this table 1, which I don't think you can read and you're not intended to read, but it's a sample of AI-related initiatives, research initiatives here at UC Davis. And what I wanted to mention is that there's 11 of these initiatives identified thus far, and we have just scratched the surface. So what is AI? This panel is open to everybody. So if there's some newcomers who came to just learn about what is AI and how you might benefit from it, welcome. It's a great opportunity to welcome new people, to grow our community. So if you're brand new to AI, I wanted to give you some pointers to some great campus resources. So the first thing is that our learning management system has over 2,000 courses about AI available to us all for free. This is a great one that a guide to artificial intelligence, a 3-minute course, really gives a comprehensive overview. Our IET community has been launching Aggie AI, and I really want to point you to the AI learning portal if you are trying to get some resources about what is AI. And then the final place to get up to speed on basic AI is the UC Davis Library. They have a great video collection focused on generative AI. You'll hear me say that word generative AI a couple of times at this intro. Of course, today's focus, since we are the Research Expo, today's focus is on AI and the research ecosystem. And I should introduce myself as well, because I don't think I know everybody here. My name is Raissa. I am the director of the AI Center in Engineering, which launched in 2024. I'm also a professor of computer science and of mechanical and aerospace engineering and I'm the Associate Dean of Research for the College of Engineering. So I wear a lot of hats, and I'm a member of the AI Council and the AI and Pedagogy Institute that we have going on, and many of the AI activities across the campus, start committees on AI and administration. So I've really been working broadly with people all over. And I just wanted to mention that when people think about AI research, as the Associate Dean of Research, I get this question often. Should I have generative AI write my grant proposal? What do you think the answer to that question is? How about a resounding no? Here's a different question. Can I use Gen AI while writing my grant proposals and referee reports? So that's a very different question. And I'd say the answer to that is most likely you can, but keep caveats in mind. So first of all, of course, the AI policy of the agency that you're applying to or the journal for which you're refereeing. But more importantly, keep in mind that unless you have explicit data privacy protections, you're going to be giving whatever you type into that large language model, you're going to be giving that information to the corporation that owns that large language model, and they're going to be using it for training data. Worst case scenario, you're going to give away your most creative research ideas, and that chatbot is going to present your ideas to other people when they inquire about that topic. Of course, other things to be very concerned about as well is that large language models regurgitate or reuse content that they've already seen. So there's a lot of inadvertent plagiarism and a lot of fake citations. But if you're going to use Gen AI to write your grant proposal or your referee reports, why stop with just one Gen AI? Why use only ChatGPT? So why not have a whole team of collaborating AI agents that can give you advice from many different perspectives, economics, the stock market. You can have a whole ecosystem of agents working for you like a team. And this is often viewed as the future of work by our own Martin Hilbert, who's a professor in the communications department. But I just wanted to say there is so much more to artificial intelligence than generative AI. We're all living in the world where Gen AI just took off like gangbusters. And we see large language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. We see DALL-E, which can generate images and videos for us. So we're living in this world of generative AI, but AI is so much more, it's so much broader. So I just wanted to mention a few things like computer vision, recommendation systems for movies or books, expert systems for legal advice or health advice, self-driving cars, sensor networks. All of this is AI. And all of us have a lot of AI in these little devices that we're carrying around with us. So much more to the world. And I also need to say, AI is cyber physical infrastructure. We can't do AI without cyber physical infrastructure. And this is a picture I took from the NSF web pages for a search about AI research ecosystem. So NSF acknowledges it from the start that we need the computers at the core and the secure cyber computing environment. And you'll see that's going to be some of what we talk about during this panel. So let me introduce you to the panelists. So I'm going to give you an overview of some of the centers, the main centers. There's not time for everybody, and just give you a quick introduction to who we're going to ask some questions of. So I wanted to start at the human level and talk about efforts happening in the College of Letters and Sciences with the new Center for Artificial Intelligence and Experimental Computers. So the goal of CAIEF is to promote democratic governance of AI systems by engaging diverse stakeholders in processes of creative world making, crafting the world of tomorrow together. So really exciting things that this center is doing. And one of the things that they're doing to try and democratize AI is that they're hosting many different sets of workshops. So really innovative forum. This is just an example from last December, where they invite a very renowned speaker to come and give a seminar, a standard seminar for an hour. And then there's a 2-hour data and AI workshop where people get their hands dirty. And you can be the most new person to AI and data, or you can be a very seasoned professional. There's something for all of you. So it's really very exciting. And we have the pleasure of having Professor Brunton with us today, who's the co-director of the center and a professor in science and technology studies. And Finn studies utopian technology subculture. So we're hoping he can help elevate us and help the world be a better place through AI. And he's got a lot of experience with the history of AI and technology and cryptocurrencies as well. So really exciting to have Ted here. I'm going to jump from the humanities over to engineering and talk about our new AI Center in Engineering, which launched in October. And the mission is to build transformative collaboration across the campus with policymakers in Sacramento, with our industry partners in Silicon Valley, and with our community to leverage AI for the betterment of society and the planet. So that's our goal. We have 10 research areas ranging from foundational AI to translational applications, a lot of efforts in education, a lot of events that we're putting on, and a lot of entrepreneurial and innovation activities, thinking about incubator spaces and really trying to get more plugged in with that industrial ecosystem, especially in this day and age where we are seeing a lot of turnover in funding. So we've been hosting a lot of great events. We've had two really luminaries in AI come and visit. Emily Mitchell was here last year. We had Ora Corbett give a talk about AI in society that had over 200 people from across the campus, students, faculty, and staff equally distributed across all the units. And it really had an opportunity to bring a lot of the leaders who need to have conversations on this campus to advance AI together. And we're planning a venture capital showcase in the fall. So definitely more things to look forward to. And we're really excited to have Professor Chenmi Chua with us today, who's co-director of the center. And she is also a professor in electrical and computer engineering. Chenmi is also the chair of our START committee on research computing. And she's leading a lot of our efforts on the campus for engagement with the Noise Foundation. And she works a lot on edge technologies for smart, accessible health and healthy aging, amongst other things. So we're really happy to have her today. I'm going to jump across the causeway over to the health campus. And UC Davis Health, we have a data center of excellence. And this data center has three cores: data provisioning, health computing, and health analytics. And you can imagine once you start thinking about AI and medical records, how much more scrutiny we need to have over everything, not only in terms of HIPAA compliance and cybersecurity, but also the ethical side of the house as well. So the Data Center of Excellence aims to support UC Davis Health's goal to become a world leader in the use of data and analytics to achieve clinical, operational, research, and academic excellence. We're very fortunate to have Kent Anderson with us today, who's the director of the Data Center of Excellence. And he's also the Associate Director of Biomedical Informatics at the Clinical and Translational Sciences Center at the School of Medicine. So welcome, Kent. And Kent is a leading bioinformatics person, so really got his hands all over research computing as well. And then I want to jump over to the glue that holds a lot of us together, and that is the Information and Educational Technologies, our IET team. They are behind the scenes providing us with a lot of the computational infrastructure and cybersecurity oversight that we need, especially as we see research and education becoming increasingly intertwined with computing. And I wanted to point you to Aggie AI, where you can actually find a lot of AI tools that you can use through your UC Davis email account with data privacy protections in place, very important. So Rocky is a new chatbot trained on UC Davis content. So it's our domain expert for all things policy at UC Davis, chat.ucdavis.edu. Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, they've made tremendous advances recently available to you at that IET site, and also ChatGPT can be instances. And we're very fortunate today to have Niraj Chauhan, who's our Chief Technology Officer and our Associate Chief Information Officer and Head of Enterprise Infrastructure Solutions. So it's great to have that perspective at the table. And finally, I want to highlight one of the really amazing things that's happening at UC Davis. And we are so fortunate to have an incredibly active chapter of the AI Student Collective. This is a global network of student organizations dedicated to providing accessible AI literacy. They're sponsored by an organization called Humans for AI. UC Davis has the very first chapter in the country, They were established in September of 2022, and they hold extensive numbers of networking events, workshops, outreach opportunities, women in tech meetings. And I have to say that in the last year alone, they had over 1,500 UC Davis students attending their workshops. 1,500 students. We need to leverage this and collaborate. So we're really happy to have Pearl Vision. So first, actually, let me show you. This is a photo of the leadership of the AI Student Collective, incredibly vibrant group of people. And I wanted to point out the opportunity that we have today to discuss with Pearl Vision, who's the Director of Research and Development for the AI Student Collective. Pearl is an undergrad student here at UC Davis. Her majors are data science, computational biology, technology management, and anthropology. So she really has spanned the campus for us. So there's so many more activities that I could mention right now. We have this amazingly vibrant AI Institute for Next Generation Food Systems. They have a booth out there. They do amazing things, like they run an AI Bridge summer boot camp every year. So really tremendous resource. And of course, our data lab has a lot of hands-on tutorials about data and AI, and we'll be partnering with them more as well. And so what I just really wanted to leave you with before we turn to our questions is the grassroots nature of all of these activities. So you see in the Center for AI and Experimental Futures, this amazing innovative workshop format that if you're lucky, you're under their mailing list. The Center for Artificial Intelligence and Engineering Center, they've been putting on really great events as well. And as I said, we're gonna have this DC event. We're trying to push incubator spaces and senior design projects out into the wild. We did a first joint event between the Center for AI and Experimental Futures, the AI Center in Engineering, and our designated emphasis in computational social science. We held this a few weeks ago at Stonegate Country Club, and we had a couple hundred students presenting their research. The AI Student Collective was there. They presented some of their research, and we gave out research prizes. It's an amazing opportunity. And this is a picture from the 2023 AI Symposium. Who knew we had an AI Symposium on campus in 2023? The AI Student Collective put that on. So we're better together. We have so many organic strengths in AI across the board here at UC Davis, humanities, engineering, medicine, our students, our law school, our business school. Other institutions are trying to create what we have. We really need to lean in and leverage this. So without central support, there's a lot of missed opportunity. So I would encourage you to look at this AI Council report and provide your comments. One thing we're really hoping for is a landing page so that there's a central place to go to find out about AI events and AI activities. And for now, if you're interested in research resources and funding opportunities, at the bottom of our page for the AI Center in Engineering, we have a lot of things that we're pointing you to, including the UC Davis AI Council report, some fellowship programs, and then I wanted to call out two really amazing opportunities to get resources for doing computing. The NAIR pilot and the Access run by NSF. Very lightweight, you write a one-page grant proposal, and they tend to give you access to high-performance computing. And there's a little QR code if you want to sign up for our mailing list and know about more activities. So now finally we can turn to the panel, and the key questions that I've asked people to think about are more or less why UC Davis. So we have our comprehensive excellence, how can we leverage it? How do we scale up? Each one of us here has a lot of active research going on about AI. And we get contacted all the time by people wanting to collaborate, and we don't have enough bandwidth to accommodate it. So we'd love to be able to scale. And how do we remove barriers? So those are some of the questions that we'll be getting into with the panel. So why don't we give our panel a welcome? Great. So let's start grounded in the humanities, and we'll start with Finn. And I want to ask if you can briefly speak about the Center for AI and Experimental Futures mission about the democratization of AI, and how many faculty across your college and the campus are involved.
Yeah,
We can do a question.
I told you that. No, this is again. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so nice to see all of you. This is a really exciting venue and opportunity for us. The Center for Artificial Intelligence and Experimental Futures, or we have never decided how to pronounce the acronym, and maybe KIF. See what sounds best to you. We are a very, very new initiative. We have 26 faculty from across letters and science involved. On 3 different nodes, which are each organized around sort of an overarching topic, and then 12 individual projects. We have a whole lot of undergraduates and graduate students who are all affiliated with us in various ways. I should also say, so I want to introduce you briefly, very briefly, to our mission, and then a couple of projects that I think exemplify the interdisciplinarity of AI research here at Davis. But in the interest of full disclosure, I also should say that we are an NEH grant funded operation, and we lost all of our money 2 weeks ago. All of our funding was rescinded. So we are currently figuring out what to do. This is also a way of saying if anyone is interested in ships or some kind of philanthropic outreach, let us know, because we are absolutely game. But in the meantime, OR has been super helpful in helping us figure out how to take next steps and keep things afloat. So these projects are in fact all ongoing. So the way that I would like to introduce our goals for this center is that it started with the question of how can we connect the tools of AI with the kinds of questions and projects and initiatives that it might not normally be linked to, right? So the interests of lots of different disciplines. That's why we brought such a diverse group of people together. So out of that, just to give you a sampler of some of the projects that we're working on at the center right now, we are working with linguists and educators, people who work in pedagogy, to study the effectiveness of Gen AI-based language learning tools, specifically for people who are learning Spanish as a second language. We are working with a independent group that operates in California that does the largest and most comprehensive survey of people who live in California, who are adding a new unit about their questions about AI, right? Their concerns and interests for the actual population of our state. And one, to me, really fascinating element of the preliminary work we put into building that survey is that we've discovered that in the Central Valley, one of the major concerns that people have about AI is not like automation and job replacement, it's scams. It's AI-based scams, right? Exploiting people's trust and using Gen AI voices and text and so on. A major area of research and intervention that both the state government and our university are involved with. We're doing a lot of work on developing ethical and policy frameworks for autonomous vehicles, right? Like not just how to get an autonomous vehicle to drive around, but when the vehicle has to make a call, right? Has to make a safety decision. What are the rules of those decisions? How do we decide what they're like? What do we mandate? One that's very dear to my heart, I'm a historian, my background is in history. We're doing a comprehensive topic modeling study of the whole of published AI research, like all of it, the big picture, the big landscape, in part as a way to answer the question of the role of speculative thinking and science fiction in shaping the actual practical research that AI researchers have done. If we know that, then we can start to look at the way that our ideas about the future of AI informs the work we do now, maybe help us steer it. And one last one that's just, I think, super cool is character interaction modeling. We have a whole game design group that's part of our center, and they are using Shakespeare's characters and Shakespeare's plays as their test bed for building character interaction models that use AI, not just so you can chat with Macbeth or whatever, but rather so that Shakespeare's characters can develop a theory of mind for you and can interact with you based on who they are and who they think you are. We're using Shakespeare as the starting point for this with a great preliminary thing, which is basically to intervene in Shakespearean plays and try to resolve them non-violently, just try to challenge some of them. But also, this is going to be the basis in the longer term for developing more and more sophisticated non-player character interactions and potentially other kinds of applications outside of games to things like chatbots. That's sort of the sweep of what we're working on. That's where our project is right now, and hopefully it is going to keep growing and expanding into the future.
Thank you, Ben. That's very exciting to hear the human side of things. And we're going to jump over to engineering and ask Jenny a question. What do you think are the key differentiators that UC Davis Engineering has in the AI space and some of the key opportunities we should pursue?
Thank you, Raissa, and thank you for a great introduction. I think you already alluded to it a little bit. UC Davis is one of the most comprehensive university systems, right? I mean, we have our strength in life sciences, vet med and culture. We have our own school of medicine, school of nursing, law school. We have everything here. And so I think, and also coupled with our collaborative culture of this campus, I think we are leader in interdisciplinary research. So that to me is key differentiator. And I think this is a time where we should not try to like imitate other universities and because it's hard to compete with powerhouses, right? You know, and Stanford, Berkeley. But we can be a differentiator by really scaling up our interdisciplinary effort with the emphasis on societal impact and ethical impact, like what we have heard, so far. Because our campus, if there is a brand name, UC Davis is known to be the green campus, right? And we can be other kind of, really bring and promote our impact, societal impact of our research. Because every single day, I'm so humbled to be here because every single day I will hear about great things that our faculty colleagues are working on. Every single day. I mean, where can you in a university that you can say this, right? So the key opportunities I see is this collaborative effort, AI in food, agriculture, AI in health, those activities are already going on for many years. AI, social science and humanities is important. AI for climate resilience. That's the key, right, for our college of engineering and as well as sustainability, right? All this AI research is burning up our planet. I'm not kidding you. And we are running out of power, space, and cooling even on campus alone, right? To meet the research computing needs of our faculty. And we find a green solution for that. I think that is where we could potentially be leader. Also AI curriculum, right? Everyone is kind of asking this question of should the students be using AI, right? Not just faculty writing grants, right? What is the value use of AI? Can we train an AI to use it? It's kind of an interesting startup company within college of engineering. I wanted to see a student who is doing that. Can we train the AI using only the faculty provided material, right? Lecture material, and then have an internal AI tutor for the students. So it's a tutoring actually providing one-on-one consultation with students to help us learn. So it can be a powerful tool. It's better than the student blindly using it and then got sent to the SGA, right? To the student judiciary thing. Now, one thing that I would say the key opportunities which we have not been very good at tapping into is industry partnership. Because we are so behind other schools like Stanford, right? For both, the entire campus culture, faculty, students, they are encouraged to start their companies and work with industry. Our campus traditionally has been very, very conservative in that space. Just to share with you an experience, I have the grant from AT&T. It took 9 months for me to sign that research agreement. I was lucky because my collaborator is an AT&T fellow. So they keep his funding across fiscal year. Now that he retired, I assure you, I would not be that lucky, right? And so, and industry is just in our backyard too. I know for a fact, private university like Lehigh, actually, they hire a local person to be their industry liaison. That local person will go to South Bay, set up all this like 1-day meeting, and then they will fly faculty from Lehigh, and that person will take her from company to company to solicit funding, right? And also internship projects, students. Second is government. We are only like 20-25 minutes away from the Capitol, and sometimes when I listen to like public radio, I was thinking to myself, where do they find all these experts on their panel, right? That they interview and for policy advice. We have all the experts here, driving distance away. And I think we can make a better job as well, not just educating policymakers, but reaching out to the general public. Because we are hurting right now, the science community is hurting right now. Because the general public actually does not understand how science and scientific research is conducted. Right? Even my own sister-in-law, she got a degree from UC Santa Barbara and she is a high school teacher, science teacher. She has no idea what's going on now, and she does not see how this impact research. So I think that's the opportunities we have.
Thank you, Jenny. It's very inspiring to hear your videos. We're gonna jump over to Kent, and the School of Medicine and UC Davis Health clearly bring tremendous new opportunities to our campus for impact, for outreach, and challenges as well. And Ken, you're the director of the Data Center of Excellence in the School of Medicine. Can you give us a quick overview of the role of the center and helping to bring in AI activities across the School of Medicine?
This one's not here. Okay, good. That's not the way to go. So the data center of excellence is fundamentally a services organization. Formed maybe 10 years ago, as an offshoot of the Translational Science Center. We've been trying to provide data access, the acquisition of data, curation, delivery, some initial reporting, and then more support for analysis in the last 8 to 10 years. And data is integral to any sort of AI advancements. And we're finding that data governance is even more critical. Being able to get ahead of the ethical and legal and operational considerations has been a fundamental challenge. And we're fortunate, as a sort of one of the services we provide, is we support the administration of the Health Data Oversight Committee, which is a group that we formed just over 5 years ago at the early stages of the pandemic. I think we had our first meeting 2 days before the shutdown. So we had a chance through the pandemic to fire test the oversight committee's resolve and the capabilities to look at the infrastructure we use to compute the analytics oversight committee. How do we apply ethical considerations to new models that were being developed through the pandemic? And here we're in a situation where we're very mature now. We've got a very mature Health Data Oversight Committee with subcommittees focused on AI support and the data sharing committee. How do we make sure that the data we're sharing with our partners is governed appropriately? We have major risks. We're sharing patient data. Even de-identified patient data is much more easily recognizable and re-identifiable through large language models. As we're finding studies galore on how the de-identified data sets can be re-identified even on tiny little identifiers that might come up in partner data sets. So we have to focus on how do we get to zero retention of data, making a HIPAA secure environment for computing, providing the certainty, or as much as we can, certainty that there isn't going to be some nefarious or unintentional use or leakage. We're really talking about the biggest risk to patient privacy and that I've ever seen. And with imagine the medical record, even the identified medical record getting incorporated into a large language model, becoming available for others to use down the road. Everything is accessible. HIPAA aside, you're still going to be at risk for never being able to retrieve that data again. So we provide services around governance, oversight, data sharing, and then a small consulting group around analytics for enterprise development. Because we don't want any good idea to die for lack of a few $100s in Amazon compute credits. So we provide infrastructure and secure support services, partnering closely with my counterparts to the garage on campus in the health system, providing infrastructure and services. And then really the goal is to enable innovation and secure infrastructure so that we can find those pathways to secure health data and responsible use of patient data and research.
Thank you, Ken. It's really an important component of our research ecosystem, obviously. And I'm going to turn to Niraj. And in some ways, you're behind the scene, running the cybersecurity and compute infrastructure for information and educational technology. We don't always hear about IET, but as I was saying in the intro, once we turn to AI and computing is an integral part of the equation. AI is computing. So can you tell us a little bit about how IET supports the research ecosystem at UC Davis, especially as we're seeing computing increasingly intertwined with research?
Thank you, Raissa. Ken and I were wondering if the couple of hundred people who signed up for the event should help with it. There are seats up front if some of you want to move up. IET provides all the infrastructure here on campus. So we are a geographically very diverse campus. There's a lot of land on campus. So a lot of the infrastructure is things like network, so Wi-Fi, over wired networks. In terms of research, we provide the same. So we provide all the network infrastructure, we provide facilities. This is a host of GPUs, which is used for a lot of the research. And then IET also has a difficult job of security, so cybersecurity for a lot of research. These are some difficult times. It's going to be very challenging to keep up with the AI explosion. So our backbone, for example, network is 10 gigs. To really support a lot of the AI research on campus, we have to get to 100 gigs. But how do you go to 100 gigs in a couple of years? Where just to go from 1 gig to 10 gig took us 5 to 10 years. So if we have funding challenges, we have also execution challenges, even if we got all the funding. This is where partnering up with the Office of Research and figuring out where we are very surgical about where we can go to the upgrades. I think that's what our future is for the next couple of years. Cybersecurity is sometimes always an afterthought. So either you're trying to get your certification for research done or your compliance. We are trying to build a future where you go to environments which are already cybersecurity compliant. So a lot of the obstacles around getting your environment compliant is not there. There's a report which came out of Raissa. A lot of the smart people with Gen AI, you get a chance to read it. It's called the 2027 report. They're predicting what will happen with AI in just 2 years, not 5 or 10 years. And it talks about autonomous bots doing research, competing with humans, studies benchmarking humans against GPT, but a lot of that cannot be done with aging infrastructure. I'm with Chendi. We are out of power, including on campus. So, and I know we'll talk about AI later. Without our industry partners, we cannot do a lot of things we're doing. They have bought all the GPUs for the next 3-4 years. As soon as GPUs are coming out of the factory, they're buying one, Microsoft. So there's no way we can compete with that. We try to create our own data center, have our own high compute environment forever. We'll have to find the right partnership with the industry partner. Because of the ideas and talent, we have a lot. Right? So I think that's the value proposition which we bring.
Excellent, thank you, very comprehensive. And then Earl, I'd love to hear a little more about the student side of things. And the AI Student Collective is so incredibly active and vibrant. And you promote so many different kinds of activities, networking, community engagement, education. And it's all been pretty grassroots. It's really remarkable that you have 1,500 students across campus engaged with you. Can you tell us about your largest event and how you would encourage collaboration, more collaboration between this community and our student community?
Yeah, of course. So thank you so much for the introduction. Yes, we've had the opportunity to service over 1,500 students over the time that we've been here, and it's wonderful to see that kind of impact. Our largest event to date has been our annual Tech Mixer, where we bring all of the technical undergraduate organizations on campus to come pitch their clubs and their organizations at the beginning of the year to new and returning UC students. And this year alone, we had over 500 attendees, which is amazing to imagine that kind of impact. Now, an event that may be a little bit more relevant to this crowd, though, is our annual AI Symposium, where we bring researchers and professors join us on the panel to discuss their research and applications of AI in their field. We've had over 100 attendees just this past year. So if any of you in the crowd are looking to get involved or are interested in participating, that would be an amazing place to start. Now, also as Director of Research and Development for AI Student Collective, I help manage 2 teams, one of which is a projects team, the other one is a technical writing team. And for these initiatives, we're always collaborating with professors. Some of our notable collaborations so far have been Hemant Bhargava, Martin Helder, Gabriel Simmons, who've all been such wonderful mentors. So this is all to say that we're always looking for collaborators, advisors, and mentors to join us on this journey. So if you're someone who's particularly interested in supporting students in their beginnings of their research journey, we would love to speak to you.
Wonderful, thank you so much. So we're gonna move to like a quick answer round. We have we have like 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll see if we can get some audience questions into. But then just to ask you, it seems like this seminar and workshop format has been incredibly successful. As you said, we're facing some challenges. The National Endowment of the Humanities has stopped a lot of funding, unfortunately, for our center, just as it was getting off the ground. So what have you learned from those, and how can we scale it up? Should we be looking inward and sponsoring these things so that we have the seminars and workshops and our in-house expertise?
Yeah, this is a lovely question. Yeah, the seminar series that we've had for the center has been, I think, really, really productive. And also shout out to Data Lab. It's been hosted by Aerospace. They're such a fantastic resource. The Data Lab's expertise has been instrumental for several of our projects in the center. It's been fantastic to be partners with them. So the structure of these was a little bit of an experiment, right? We were like, okay, we can't just bring in AI researchers and be like, provide a very high level abstract talk about your work, but everyone really wants to understand how it works, right? And how they can like implement it and learn from it. So the format we've developed is an hour-long introduction to someone's work, followed by a multi-hour hands-on workshop where we ask the person who's coming to provide sort of multiple levels of multiple tracks in terms of levels of technical sophistication. So people who already know how to do certain things can just jump in, learn like much more intensive stuff, etc. So we also, and this, I want to emphasize this because I think this is also a way of thinking about one of the strengths that UC Davis can offer in AI. One of our goals in setting this up was to recognize that I think part of what we offer as a university is problems and questions. Because not to be very crude about it, I think AI in many ways is a product in desperate search of a problem to solve. Right, like dude, all these like we've seen all the ridiculous like stabs at productization where it's like this is going to somehow burn $1 billion in venture capital, but it will figure out that you're busy on this day in your calendar and like automatically send a thing. So part of what we've been able to do in the seminar series is to bring in really interesting other kinds of problems that AI can help with. So as was mentioned on the slide, we had a speaker who's developed a large language model specifically so people can contest unjust healthcare charges, to write like legally meaningful letters to contest those charges, and then had a workshop about how you train an LLM for something that's specific. We had a speaker who was working on the history of Ottoman Turkish archives, who's like, how do you do optical character recognition for the unique properties of written Ottoman Turkish? How do you translate that? And then had a workshop on that translation. So I really encourage us to adopt this as a style, bring people in to speak on their work, and then introduce us to how to actually do their work. It's been a very effective tool for us.
Excellent. Chindy, I have a question that I'm saying I want a quick answer on, but I know that it's not a quick answer because Chindy has been chairing our Research Computing Start Committee for over a year. And in the time at which the committees met, the whole landscape has changed. Not only because of AI, but because of the federal landscape. And I know we need to solve our problems. We talk about compute, space, power. Do you see incentives that can get the campus to coordinate on HPC or across the UC system? And again, I know this is hard to put you on the spot for a quick answer.
So the biggest problem, I think, a challenge to our campus is lack of like central coordination. Because right now the research services are provided by multiple units, right? IET and the individual college IT, and then data lab, right? Onboarding HPC users and HPC, of course. But our need, right? Faculty, from faculty perspective, our need for research computing is so different, right? From college to college and from group to group. So I am very humbled to serve on this committee and chair the research computing working group, because for the first time, we actually have faculty working alongside with staff members and the leaders who look at this problem from a holistic view, right? Not just what we need to run our research. I'm guilty of that, like in the past, I feel like I'm just an ostrich in my head and something, everyone else is like doing the heavy lifting, supporting it for me, but that's not how it works, right? And so I think to me, to stay nimble, we need to adopt a federated hybrid infrastructure. So we need HPC, I mean, to maybe cater to a certain, hopefully majority of the faculty that just need this remote access and have everything taken care of. And then we need condo model, right? So faculty who can purchase hardware, put in somewhere in the data center, especially for secure computing, we need an in-house solution. Secure computing and storage, but then we also need to partner, right? So for cloud, I hope that by collectively, by identifying on these, we can have like invent position to negotiate a better rate with Google, AWS, Microsoft. And there is also co-location services out there that we should get a better rate. And then lastly, of course, partnership with industry like NVIDIA for the hardware. Yeah.
So, and I feel like I've been in data for 20 years. I feel like our decentralized nature is such an amazing benefit to us and such a detriment to us as well. So, and real quickly, what do you think are the key differentiators of UC Davis Health in the AI space?
In health, and so I'll summarize as quickly as I can here. I think that we need to treat AI like a clinical tool. It's not something that we can go fast and break things. It's the development. Can't do that in healthcare. It's too risky. We need to go slow now so we can go fast later. Good news is we built that out a lot with our analytics oversight committee, the health data oversight committee, superstructure, not that fiduciary capabilities that we're really well poised now to go fast with new opportunities.
Excellent. Rich, a quick question for you. I know you've been building out the Rocky chatbot, and I was curious if you could tell us a little bit, a high level overview of your vision for AI ecosystem on campus.
Sure. So Rocky is part of the Aggie AI brand. So we already see AI as a movement. So there are a couple of strategies we're trying to use. There's an explosion of tools. Simple things like we do not want you to use the free commercial tools to build. So Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT, Rocky is also our homegrown GPT, which we use. But we're looking towards the future. So a lot of you talked about collaborating across. We have the talent and the ideas. Either we develop these in our individual bubbles or we come centrally with that. So with Aggie AI, we're trying to provide the foundation for you to get either access to dozens of large language models available or build GPTs with us. For more information, Aggie AI, we have a whole website. You can go to get information.
Excellent, thank you so much. And Pearl, students are creating the future. They're building tools that we never would have envisioned using AI. And I know I have a large question for you about what we should be teaching, but given this is a research focus, what kinds of research and entrepreneurial opportunities are students in the AI Student Collective looking for?
Sure, so at ACE, we pride ourselves on the interdisciplinary nature of our students. So we have students from a variety of backgrounds, fields of study, schools of thought, who all want hands-on experience on various applications of AI and how they can be leveraged in different fields. So whether that's AI in transportation, in healthcare, in commerce, our students want to learn more about how these tools can be leveraged in the real world.
Excellent. And I know that we have to be out of the room in about 3 or 4 minutes, so we can do a lightning round or we can ask any pressing questions. Okay, we have time probably for 2 questions for the audience.
Thank you. I'm Nurla, scholar here. I have a question for Greg. I'm eager to have the terms like trust, ethics, which we discussed, I think, not enough. Which we don't discuss now. So, because you mentioned you have also some data science research on the topics of AI research, and so I'm curious what you think about it, because so And I'm from Europe, and in Europe, ethics and trust of the AI, so it's a huge topic, and it's one of the major topics in Europe. So, what do you think? So, do we discuss enough about trust of AI system, trust of it? So, what do you think? Because I mean, the performance of the AI system. So, this is the most important. This is the hardest topic. I just was curious what do you think on the thinkers.
Yeah, in the interest of time, I can answer this question with one word, which is no. We don't discuss it enough. We should discuss it more. And that's one of the areas that I think universities and a place like Davis are uniquely poised to be really helpful, because that conversation is happening after when it should have happened, but it's still going to happen at a policy level, state level, and an industry level. And we are in a position to help with that. So yeah, I'd be happy to discuss more how we can expand that discussion.
Human medical microbiology. My question is, I was reading Nature, and they had a major concern deciphering between AI written articles and investigative written articles. Apparently, there are some fingerprints where they could tell apart. Could you just mention what these fingerprints could be?
Does anyone know, like, if I could identify AI generated data?
I don't often know how you identify that data, but I think that's kind of indicative of one of the problems we're going to be facing. I've spent my career trying to find ways to structure and store data creatively, capture data from whether it's a consumer, a patient, a physician, and store it in a structured way. As with AI, these large language models get better, we've got what AI Scribe is a listening device in the clinic that can listen to the interaction with the patient, generate a note for the clinician. Now, the physician has to approve that, so we know that it's something that they generated on their own. Without that person in the middle wouldn't necessarily know that. And so you get these AI agents that, for those forecasts 10 years from now, data collection may be completely different because data extraction is so precise. We've got models that work as well. We can't really tell the difference. And that could be a time saver, a wonder drug for the academic community, or it could be the asbestos of the future. How do we know where data is being generated by AI, and where do we get that trust? That's a huge effort. Try to get your name off of an advertising banner. I mean that's not even using AI. A lot of overlap that we're going to be struggling.
And there's a lot of great concerns about data provenance, watermarking, and it's a game theory question as well. How do we stay ahead of the people trying to do exploits? So lots of cybersecurity techniques might come in with humanistic approaches as well. So 1 minute, I'm going to ask you all a yes/no question. Looking forward 10 years, do you think AI is going to have fundamentally changed UC Davis?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So it's going to transform our teaching mission, our research mission, and our administration mission. And thank you all for coming. It's wonderful to have so much enthusiasm. And as I started out with a little call for us to bring us community together and help these grassroots efforts really become the amazing things that would make UC Davis the world leader in the space. We've got all the pieces in place that other institutions are trying to put together. So I hope we can lean into it. And I know everybody on the panel is certainly amenable to follow-up questions or emails. And there's a couple of resources that we're pointing to on these slides. And I'm very happy to post these slides as well if they're of interest. So let's thank our panel again.